Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we are looking at the Kuat Transfer V2 2-bike rack here on our 2018 Nissan Titan XD. Now the Kuat Transfer is one of my favorite bike racks with how well it balances adjustability, affordability, and it has a really cool goalpost design that makes it easier to mount and dismount your bike. Now we'll take a look at one of its features, which is that it can tilt away. So what I like to do is just take this clamp and move that to the side. That means I can step right in here inside that goalpost, step on that lever, and then just drop this down to a tilt. Now what I did notice here on our truck is that it does tilt away, but not far enough where that I can lower my tailgate all the way. It comes super duper close. Maybe if I had a slightly different shaped bicycle, it might work. But here we just have enough access to grab whatever we need out of our truck bed and then close it up. So that's something you're gonna have to think about. On the other side though, with how quick and easy it is to take a bike off and on, that might not be that big of a deal. You just take your bike off, lower your tailgate, grab whatever you need out of your truck. All right, let's take a look at how our bike is mounted here. So here in the front, we have this front wheel clamp. I'm a huge fan of this design because like what this is a carbon fiber frame bike. So with the traditional hooks that come down to the frame, I'm kind of worried about warping or cracking my frame. But with this front wheel mount, I don't have to worry about that. Also, if you have alternate frame bikes like women's bikes, children's bikes, step-through bikes, this front wheel clamp is super helpful because then you don't need to get a separate frame adapter bar. Then you come over here to the back and you see this rear wheel strap. So when you want to take your bike off, that's where you would start. You press that lever, lift up on the strap, and then leave it to the side so it's not tangled up in your spokes when you take your bike off. Then you step inside the goalpost, hold on to your bike as you do so, press this button on the left. There you go. It might be a tight fit depending on how tight you've got your bike strapped down. So then press that button, lift up on the hook, and then push that hook out. And from here, it's just a slight lift, and then you're ready to go on a bike ride. And with the bike out of the way, let's take a closer look here at our cradles. So here in the back, we have this rear wheel cradle, and this tilts back and forth to accommodate different wheelbases. The longest wheelbase this can accommodate is up to 50 inches. You also notice how our cradles are really wide. They can technically fit bike tire widths of up to 5 inches, but if it's anything larger or wider than 3 inches, you're gonna have to purchase a separate strap adapter. So that strap comes down and ratchets down to secure that rear wheel. Then here in the front, you have a front wheel cradle. Notice how we have different grooves on our cradle. That's going to accommodate different tire widths or different tire sizes. You also have a front wheel clamp. We talked about that just now. That also has those grooves as well as a slight padding or texture on that hook. That way it holds onto that front tire well or securely. Now you have different options for putting away your front wheel hooks. What I like to do is put it out to the furthest setting. That way they're sitting outside of the cradle and you can get the most out of that goalpost design when you have it folded up. Now when you do have a bike rack behind your vehicle, you're gonna have to think about how much length is added to the back of it. So measuring from our rear bumper here on our truck to the end where that lock for your cable lock is going to be, it sits at 34.5 inches. So that's fair for a 2-bike bike rack. Not that big of a deal when you're driving around the truck because you already know you have some extra length to think about when you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a really tight spot. As for ground clearance, we'll take some quick measurements. Underneath the goalpost, it's 21.5 inches. Underneath the shank, it's 16.5 inches. This is a big deal for lower vehicles. That ground clearance is important when you go up steep inclines like driveways or hills. We'll also talk about another of its features, which is that you can fold this up. To do so, you press that lever, and then you just fold up the bike rack, just like that. Let's take some more measurements. Measuring from our bumper to the end of the bike rack, you have it at 10.5 inches. by that goalpost. And then over here to that lever, which sticks out a little bit further, it sits at about 12.5 inches. So you'll definitely want it in this position when you're driving around town. You're not planning on taking your bikes out for a ride, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off. As for closest point, it's going to be from the bumper to this front wheel cradle, and that's going to be a clearance of 4.5 inches. Plenty of space between your bike rack and your truck, meaning you don't have to worry about it coming in contact as you drive around. With it folded up too, you notice how it's not taller than your truck bed. Our taillights are fully visible. Our backup camera is fully open too. And our license plate is fully visible too. That's something special about the Kuat Transfer. Other platform racks, when folded up, will cover that license plate. This one keeps you safe and legal on the road when folded up. Let's talk about how this fits into our hitch. So this version right here is the 1.25" with a 2-inch hitch adapter sleeve. That has a weight capacity of 40 pounds per bike. But there's another version with a 2-inch solid shank that's going to give you a weight capacity of 60 pounds per bike. So it looks pretty much the same. It works the same way. The 2-inch shank can be added on for it to make 3 bikes. This one cannot be added on to. But other than that, that's the main difference, the shank and their weight capacity. So just think about which one you have or which bikes you have and which is going to work for you. So this comes with a hitch pin and a clip. I recommend adding a lock right over there. That way you can match it with the cable lock that comes with your bike rack, and then you can secure both your bikes and your bike rack. This uses a security wrench to tighten it down, which is one of the main downsides of the Transfer compared to the knob, which the Sherpa and the NV has. You have to use that wrench. But once that's in place and tightened down, as you shake the bike rack, you can see I'm mainly shaking the vehicle at this point, showing that as you drive around and there's rattle and vibrations on the road, you're not going to get any extra from an improper fit between the bike rack and your hitch, making for a smoother ride for your bikes as you ride. Alright, so my final thoughts about the Kuat Transfer is I really like that goalpost design. This is the only platform rack I've seen so far that leaves our license plate completely visible. Plus, you get to step into that goalpost, making it easier to take your bikes on and off. Now you can't fully tilt away our Nissan tailgate, but again, it's easy to take your bikes off, so it's not that big of a deal. It really is up to you. So that was a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 2 bike rack here on our 2018 Nissan Titan XD.